Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So let's get into it. Hood Stocks, right? Hood Stock has a variety of guests that go to their platform. Shout out to Hood Stocks, man. I respect the platform. They've always kept it cordial in the willings and dealings with North and South. There is really no division on Hood Stocks, man. That dude Lucky needs to be commended for his attitude and the way he rocks on his platform and allows all groups to be addressed in a respectful manner. So over the weekend, he had Peso, the Grammy award-winning Peso, who's a rapper from Southern California, a youngster, man, who there is no doubt is definitely talented and is definitely, man, setting his mark in the rap game right now as we speak, man. I got nothing bad to say about Peso, man. I can tell you this, hopefully he stays on the path that he's on right now and continues to progress as an artist because he's definitely got his head together. And I can tell you right now, from watching that interview, that dude is laced up, educated, and someone, I don't know who it was, but one of his big homies put the motherfucking education game down and he grasped it. Hey, that's a great thing. Now, Peso is a Grammy award-winning artist. He also was featured on Kendrick Lamar's award-winning album, just like Lefty Gunplay, but got put on the back burner. Everyone only talked about Lefty Gunplay's achievements on that album without speaking on Peso. Peso also received a Grammy and did have more than 4 words on that album. Peso was actually on a track and had a whole verse. So you know what? Hey, I give respect where respect is due. That dude is a Grammy Award winner as well, and it's well-deserved, man. Anytime that you can get on a track, lay it down, and actually have the better bars on the track, right? It's respectable. Now, of course, he's raza, so, there's going to be a lot of people, Gun, you're putting too much on it. You're just giving love because he's brown. Abso-fucking-lutely. Hey, the Browns got to get in where the Browns could get in, right? And that's just how it is for me, man. I'm always going to put my peoples first and foremost on the forefront. That's how I rock, right? It doesn't matter about North or South or none of them shenanigans, none of that gang banging. But I'm definitely going to push the envelope for my people just like anyone else would. Am I wrong? Let me know. Anyways, this man goes on Hood Stocks. And for those of you that have never watched Hood Stocks, hey, I'm going to tell you guys right now, you need to. This guy, Lucky, provides a platform for all artists, for all people of different walks of life to go and speak the realities and the realisms, places that they've been, right? And so he allows Peso on the platform, which is a privilege. Anytime you're invited to a platform, it's a privilege both ways. Now, for those of you that don't know, Hood Stocks, the recent guests have been on fire, off the hook, man. They had Akon, Grammy award-winning rapper Akon, and then now Peso. That's back-to-back bangers, right? And so a question got asked or a subject came up, which usually does when we're talking about a Southern or a Northern podcast. It's just unavoidable. There's always going to be that question to these Southside rappers and these Norteño rappers. And the question is always going to be this, and it's very simple. Would you ever work with the Norteño artist if you're from the Southern side? Or would you ever work with the Sureño artist if you're from the Northern side? Well, I'm going to burst the bubble right now. There is no such thing as a Norteño rapper or a Southside rapper. We might title it that. They might get that label. But at the end of the day, man, the way I look at it, just like I look at human beings, right? You're not black, you're not white, you're not brown, you're human, right? Same thing with fucking Norteño and Southside rappers. You're not none of that. You're just a rapper. You're a hip-hop head. You're in the game. You're an artist. And you just so happen to be from Southern or Northern California. But of course, there's always going to be that caja, that box that they're put into. There was always going to be when you're loyal to one side or the other, you're going to wear that tag, you're going to wear that label. Now, of course, man, there's money beyond that box. There are people, a lot more people that are not involved in gangs that just love hip hop. They love rap music and they love and are intrigued by the stories and the tales that you tell of the streets. But that doesn't necessarily mean they want to go to prison, they want to kill people, they want to get hurt. No, none of that. But they want to hear what you got to say about it. They're going to live vicariously through you. That's how the game goes. I used the big word vicariously. Guns on fire today, right? So look, Peso was asked, would he ever do a rap song or any type of interaction with Norteños? And that youngster, man, replied in the most professional and respectful manner I've heard in a long time. No, he didn't do the Neil Dazad. He didn't do the Thumps. He didn't do the BFD. He definitely did not do the Bozo. He didn't go with that narrative of back and forth net banging on the internet of North and South, man, letting everyone know what their next move is and letting everybody know how they feel about the other side without even knowing that man or knowing what the other side entails. Instead, what did he do as a youngster, younger than all those gentlemen I just mentioned? He leaned back and said he would never disrespect the Norteño movement. They've never disrespected him. They've showed him love. In fact, when he was around Norteños, there was an embracement and a love shown, man, and that he has no issues. Now, let me rewind a little bit. You do recall that Peso most recently did a concert in Fresno, California, and there was a bulldog. Shout out to the Fresno Bulldogs, right? And I say Fresnal, and the real F-14ers know what I mean when I say Fresnal, right? But there was an bulldog that had to show up at that fucking concert, and there got to be coming some bumping baking soda breath on the door. There was wolfing going back and forth between Peso's team and, of course, the Fresno Bulldog. Now, the Bulldog pulled up Bolo. He was by himself, and he was holding it down for the city of Fresno, okay? And at the same time, Peso and his entourage, his team, they bit into it, and they started wolfing back, and there was a lot of the he said, she said, that she said, that the Bulldog said, right? And it was going back and forth. And of course, it was a viral moment. It went viral. People started talking about it, because Peso was throwing up gang signs. Look, he's an active member allegedly from a gang in Southern California. So automatically he falls into that Southsider category. Look, let's put music to the side. Let's put Grammy Awards to the side. Let's put hood stocks to the side. When you're gang banging and you're a part of something, then you got to rep that wherever you go. That's the rules of the game. Okay, so no matter if Peso's in Fresno, if he's in Salinas, if he's in Merced, if he's in San Fran or San Jose, he's definitely not going to cease to be a Southsider. He's always going to rep his barrio. He's always going to be what he is. Now, of course, people like to say, well, vatos only rep when they're deep. When they're by themselves, they start plea bargaining. And Johnny Cochran ain't their lawyer, right? I can tell you this. I've been in plenty of situations where one person stood their ground on a prison yard by themselves, planted their flag, or even on the streets where a vato was like, yeah, this is what I represent. Sur gang, right? And was ready. And vice versa with the Norteños. I've seen and been a part of myself getting to a prison yard, taking my shirt off, letting the Huelga bird show and be like, hey, if it's on, then it's on, G, right? Hey, was I happy about it? No. Did I have butterflies in my stomach? If that's what you want to call them, right? I was definitely rather have butterflies in my stomach than a knife. But I had to rep, and I've seen other people do it. So it's commendable when people stand on what they believe in, but also at the same time, there's a lot of stupidity that goes into the art and form of gangbanging, period. Once you get old enough to realize, man, it's a waste of time and it really ain't that serious, then you'll be on my level and other people's levels like me. But until then, do your thing. Believe in what you believe in, and no one can take that from you. So Peso definitely was repping, and it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because he was throwing up gang signs in the city of Fresno at a Bulldog. But quietly as it's kept, man, that seems like a young, respectful man that if people wouldn't mess with him, he's not going to mess with them. Now, whatever he has going on with barrios and what he's got going on with his enemigos in Southern California, that's between him and the streets. But as far as rap music and the head on his shoulders, that brother got no dandruff, right? His shit is flake-free because he definitely has a good head on his shoulders. And he sat down, man, with Lucky from Hoodstocks and explained why. He didn't just say, oh, no, I wouldn't work with Norteños right off the top, and then started to disrespect them. He did a smooth move and explained as to why he would not work with Norteños, the reasoning behind it, which I understand, man. It gets political. There's an understanding that, yes, there may be an end to hostilities and some form of peace treaty behind the prison walls, but this ain't prison. Not everyone's there. So on the streets, different policies, different tactics, different moves need to be made, right? We understand that as brown people, raza, there's a bigger bag to be made if North and South were to do music together. But at the end of the day, that's yet to be seen, and we don't even know if it would work out. But if it does and it would, man, then they should and it could, right? But I don't know. At the end of the day, I really don't know if a collaboration between North and South would appease the people that listen to music. There's some great Northern California rappers and there's some great Southern California rappers. Don't get it twisted to think that they don't listen to each other's music, because they do. Case in point, Little Weirdo rolling around San Diego bumping Woody. We all heard it, right? Blackbird, we heard it. And I'm sure Peso bumps bands and other Northern California rappers, and there's a lot of Northern California rappers that bump Peso. Let's just keep it true. Let's keep it as real as it gets, right? But that man sat back and was so respectful to the Nortenos. I've only heard two other people voice their opinion in the same form or fashion I'm talking about rappers, when it comes to speaking on their thoughts and knowledge as far as to the Norteño movement. Now, you got to understand, Southsiders from Southern California could care less about what Norteños got going on and don't even see them as an enemy until they get behind them walls. There's a lot of people like Bozo, Neil Dazad, and several others, Blue Devil, from time to time, right? He's been easing back a little bit and more and embracing the Norteño cause a little bit more, right? But there's Vatos that feel some type of way and they stand firm on their beliefs. Am I mad at them? No, because I know a lot of Norteños like BFD, Thumps, and other cats that feel the exact same fucking way. It's crazy that two different groups that don't even know each other personally can feel that fucking the hatred and the burning flame in their heart for the other group, the blue team and the red team. But that's what they make it. That's how they feel. And hey, as long as that feeling is real, who can say they're wrong? If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right, right? And if hating you is right, then I definitely don't want to be wrong. That's just how it is. But at the end of the day, Peso didn't have that exact feeling. He said, I will not work with Sureños, I will not work with Norteños as a Southerner. And the reason being, it's political. Of course, he doesn't want to be the one to break that bread, to break that ground, and I get it. Now, I heard a couple other Southern rappers say pretty much the same thing. One of them was Dopey from 18th Street, allegedly, right? Who said that while he was incarcerated amongst Norteños in Ad Seg and the Shoe, the Norteños blessed him with a care package. At first, he was hesitant on taking that care package. He didn't know, but then he realized, man, that the Norteño movement entails looking out for anyone of brown descent, any raza worthy of the cause, right? And they plugged him in because, hey, one thing a brown man does while incarcerated is look out for the next man. And also there's a philosophy, man, if they're going to be your enemy, you want them at their strength, at their best, if you're going to get off where you're mad at. But regardless of that, it's a respect thing. And that opened the eyes of Dopey to the Norteño movement and how it rocked, right? And he definitely embraced that and showed love to his Northern raza, in his words, right? He was a rapper that, quite possibly, maybe not work with Norteños as far as in the booth, because that's the truth, but he definitely behind them walls has a great amount of measure of respect for them. And I'm sure they do likewise for him because he's always kept it G. Now, another one who did it lightweight was Lefty Gunplay. If you guys recall, Lefty did have some harsh words for the Norteño movement when he first got out. There was all kinds of busters and put your shirts on, right? But eventually, man, he realized that the music and what he was trying to do, his profession, was bigger than the gang he was from, right? And he said he would never work with Norteños because they're from up there. He's from down there. And they say he's not trying to do that shit, right? And that's just it. But at the end of the day, he kept it lightweight, respectful, doubled back, and apologized to people for the disrespect. I respect that. Now, as far as the Norteño cause goes, man, you do hear a lot of Northern songs. And when I say Northern songs by guys from Northern California that are highly disrespectful to Southsiders. But they're in particular not aiming and not shooting shots at Vatos from Southern California. They're more aiming and shooting shots at the upstaters which oppose the movement, which are trying to go in and establish and conquer, in the words of Bozo, and take over their northern promised land, right? Now, I get it. But at the same time, man, South is the South, whether it's a Vato from a North that claims the South or the South claiming the South. Once you disrespect Sur Gang, then you're definitely aiming shots and taking shots at everybody that's under the same flag. That's how that goes. But I'm not here to cause division. That's not it, man. I think the North and South in a perfect world would be perfectly blended, right? I've always thought, man, all it's going to take is someone with a good head on his shoulders and good reasoning to shut that shit down and let everybody know that we are all the same as brown people. There's no difference between Northern California and Southern California, but a little bit of swag and a whole lot of lag. And that's it. And they need to stop lagging, man, and get with the program. You're starting to see Norteños going to LA more, will and deal, do business, man. You're seeing some Southerners that care and some that don't. Some that are like, whatever, You know what I mean? As long as Vatos don't disrespect, it's good. And then you're seeing Vatos, we're not gonna take it, right? Vatos are doing the Twisted Sister. And I don't understand, man. The same thing goes for Northern California. Don't get it twisted. Think I'm taking shots at the South because Sur gang. You guys know I don't. I'm the reason I'm the most hated in Northern California is because of the love and respect that I show to the Sur, right? So let's just keep it G right here. But let's keep it motherfucking Peso Pablo, right? I call him Peso Pablo. It's like Petey Pablo. Peso Pablo went on Hood Stocks and kept it real respectful about Nortenos. He also said, man, that he's never disrespected the Nortenos, nor will he allow any platform of his, any music of his to disrespect the North. That's a big thing because he's bigger than that. As an artist, he's more talented than that. He's not trying to put himself in a box. He's already labeled as a Southern California rapper, but that is the one that I know from the down south. And there's a lot of good rappers down there, but he's one that I know that's going to blow up beyond measure when it comes to Southern California rappers, right? He's going to go outside of the box. He's going to touch down in Texas. He's going to touch down in Indiana. He's going to touch down in Chicago, Florida, New York. His music is that good and he's that talented to make his mark everywhere. And why does he want to confine himself to a caja, a box, and be stuck fucking performing at car shows in fucking El Monte? He doesn't want to do that. Shout out to El Monte, right? He wants to fucking go and do more than just the Santa Fe swap meets. He wants to go and do the big Madison Square Gardens and the T-Mobile arenas and he wants to make his mark, and he's definitely going to do that with the head on his shoulders that he has. And I'm not just making this video because he showed love to the Norteños, but he is one of the very few that has, besides Dopey and Lefty sometimes, right? That's just, hey, I'm going to go get the papers. Lefty 2 times, right? That's just, Lefty did it twice and then disrespected 3. And fuck it. But this is a Grammy award-winning artist. This is a kid with the good head on his shoulders, and people like Bozo, Blue Devil, Neil DeZaz, these guys need to look at this Vato and say, you know what? This Vato is speaking with educational points, man, on some real shit. And he's a youngster, laced up. One that I could say, man, was taught the right way. That has the understanding that these Vatos ain't did shit to me. They ain't never, did nothing to me personally. I got nothing bad to say about them. So, yes, he did not disrespect the Norteño cause. Do I think Peysoh will be the first one to break bread and break ground with the Norteños as far as musically? He said no. And I understand why. He doesn't want to get caught up with this homeboys and looked at some sort of way, because still we're living in 2026 where the North and South division is prevalent. It's still real. It's going to continue to be real as long as people entertain the idea of separation and division. Once they start entertaining the idea that, hey, I don't really dislike this guy, I don't even know him, then and only then can we see a collaboration. Can we see someone like Gold Toes whose efforts seem to be meaningless to other people, but to me, I see them as what they were, doing business, trying to not bring the North and South together, because he's not the spokesman for the North and South, but definitely creating a lane, man, for everyone to win business-wise. That's why I commend GT Digital. I commend Gold Toes. I commend these rappers that show the other side love and respect. You ain't got to show them love, but you can definitely show them some respect. Peysoh did that for the Norteños. And I'm sure a lot of Northerners are going to feel some type of way about that. They're going to see a Vato, a youngster, look at BFD. Listen, a youngster from down south who's playing the game correctly. And you're going to see he's already won Grammy in, and watch out. You know what I mean? This understanding that you're a Norteño or understanding that you're a Southsider, and that's what it's all about. Congratulations, for reals. When you're loyal to your people and you're about your cause, but that doesn't entail disrespecting people, bumping baking soda breath, woofing, because that is not what the Norteño nor the Southsider movement do. Real ones treat everybody with respect, and when it's go time, it's O time, right? And that's just it. That's the way I was taught, hey, why are you going to fucking disrespect people and talk shit behind their back and do all that? Just get off where you're mad at if you're mad. If not, then fucking lean back, Holmes. Why fuck up the program? We're trying to make money here on this yada and establish a table, homie. We're not trying to fuck it off because you fucking can't be around a Southerner, right? The homies used to be like, what's your problem with Southsiders? That's why I always say me going to Fred C. Nellis in the Youth Authority, going to L.A., Whittier, when I did, man, changed my life, because it gave me an understanding of who I thought the enemy was, who they really were, not the propaganda that was fed to me, the hatred that was fed to me, but who they really were. And I said, God dang, man, he uses hot sauce the same way I do, right? Stop. And that gave me an understanding that we were not different. We were all brown. That could keep getting pushed out there as many times as I got to say it, but there's still going to be some division and separation, because there are those that oppose, that go out there and they're going to keep doing that. Man, shouts out to fucking Peso, and shouts out to Lucky Sunsu from fucking Hoodstocks for allowing that man to speak. And Lucky didn't correct him, didn't change it, just listen to his take on it. And that man said, I ain't got no problems with Nortenos. You ain't going to hear me dissing them. I ain't tripping off them. They showed me embracement and love. He did a concert around Northerners. They didn't trip. He says, it was all love. It was all respect. I got to respect that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think fucking Peso's all bad now? Southsiders are going to trip on him because he said he ain't tripping off Northerners? Or do you think he's taking the right approach and he's a very educated and well thought out young man? I think he is, but that's just me. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. See, I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. Today, we're getting off where we're mad at. I'm dropping video after video after video. If you don't like it, you can lament. That's what Richie's mom said. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock, California area, make sure that you pull up, man, and you go get you something cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in Tucson, Arizona. Google the homeboy, look up his number, and if he's in your direct and immediate area, he'll plug you in and get you right. And also by Veterans Benefits Consulting. I got further information on what that exactly is coming soon. Just wait. I got you. Veterans, we take care of our peoples. Bang, bang.